What's up, y'all? With the whole P Diddy fallout thing, this isn't the first celebrity that has had some of the worst accusations on their name, on their person, on their reputation. And just like every single time something like this happens, there's people defending, there's people confirming biases, there's people celebrating that the rumors are now factual or allegedly factual, whatever legal terminology I got to say, not to be the person getting held under the gun for what I'm about to say, right? Instead of just talking about the acts, the crimes, the alleged misdeeds, right? Instead of talking about that, I wanted to, give my thoughts on the underlying things that lead to these individuals being like they are. So I'm gonna go into that. Hopefully y'all like it. Pay attention. If y'all agree or disagree, that is perfectly fine with me. I especially love when y'all disagree. So anyway, check out the video and we'll let it go from there. Robert Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, Sean P. Diddy Combs. Look, my intent is not to delve into the intricacies of individual culpability, but rather to reflect upon the saying that power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I want to start my rant by quoting the man that coined the statement in its entire context. Lord Acton wrote a series of letters to Bishop Crichton concerning the moral issues of writing history about the Inquisition, and in that he implied that the same moral standards should apply to all people. Acton wrote, "I cannot accept your canon that we are to judge Pope and King unlike other men, with a favorable presumption that they did no wrong. If there is any presumption, it is the other way against holders of power, increasing as the power increases. Historic responsibility has to make up for the want of legal responsibility. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Great men are almost always bad men, even when they exercise influence and not authority. Still more when you superadd the tendency or the certainty of corruption by authority. There is no worse heresy than that the office sanctifies the holder of it." Look, he was basically saying that when we write history of these men, we must tell the truth about them, holding them to the moral standard because the legal system hasn't done it. And he believed power corrupts the holders of it, and even more so as the power increases. And it wasn't just that they had any direct authority like a judge or police officer, but the simple influence was just as significant as actual authority. I want to know, what happens? What happens to people when they gain power? Let me use a bit of a fictional example. When Thanos gathered all the Infinity Stones and did what he thought was right, what did he do with the stones after that? Let's go to it.
Where are they?
Answer the question.
The universe required correction. After that, the stones served no purpose beyond temptation.
Where are the stones?
Gone. Reduced to atoms.
You used them 2 days ago.
He used the stones to destroy the stones. It nearly killed me. But the work is done. It always will be. I am inevitable.
Once he did what he did with the stones, once he fulfilled his purpose, he got rid of the stones because it was too tempting. Because he knew, the mad titan knew, that power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Consider the human propensity for imagination. Therein lies the contemplation of what one might do with heightened power, influence, and resources. Sure, we'd all openly discuss the good we do, and good is all relative anyway, so by default, we're already setting ourselves up to be scrutinized by onlookers once we're wielding power. But beyond the so-called good, there's the other stuff. The random guilty pleasures we'd partake in, the debauchery we'd possibly explore, the excess we indulge in. Yeah. I know, we're all above it. we'd all remain the same. Money won't change me. Power wouldn't change me, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe it. I'm not saying we all morph into some Weinstein diddlers, but I do believe that with what seems to be limitless options, many of us would explore more of our darker side. That's what I genuinely believe to be taking place here. I'm not saying that everyday people don't dabble in treachery. We do. History and news coverage shows that the average person is capable of the most heinous behavior, but I also believe that most people do the least because they don't have the power to do the most and go unchecked.
You're nothing but an animal.
We are all animals, my lady. Most are too afraid to see it.
I think that powerful people get to a point where they believe they can't be stopped. Imagine a man in his rise to power. As a young man, he's doing things that he thinks is normal, right? He's probably at a party, maybe under the influence of some substances that already lower his inhibitions, and in a moment he smacks a random woman on her rear end. Now, she doesn't respond the way she would if a regular dude did that. She gives him a pass because of who he is. His friends or close acquaintances probably look the other way and don't see an issue because the woman didn't make an issue. Perhaps the bystanders are just as morally corrupt, or they fear saying something to hold this man accountable. Here's another scenario. Imagine a man in his rise to power. As a young man, he's doing things that he thinks are normal. He's probably on a vacation with some people in his circle, maybe a male friend of a friend or close associate is in his vicinity. Maybe he's under the influence of some substances that make him feel a little brave. And in this moment, he decides to stunt on the friend of a friend. Make that friend of a friend do something embarrassing, do some silly dance in front of a group. Walk several miles in the middle of the night to get some cheesecake type shit?
Yo fam, Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
This is an individual that wants to test the limits. They want to play with people because all the material stuff isn't enough anymore. Inanimate objects don't feel, they don't respond, they don't affirm and confirm, they don't feed that ego. And all while he's playing puppet master, the friends and acquaintances don't check it. Is it because they want something, need something, fear something? Whatever it is, it's enabling corruption. And over time, this young man that's doing things that he thinks are normal for someone of his stature, they become his real life norm. And it only mutates into something more diabolical as his power and influence increases. One might question why individuals of authority do not seek consensual engagement in their darker inclinations, akin to communities such as BDSM. The distinction lies in the corrupting influence of power, which finds gratification not in mutual consent, but in the coercion and subjugation of others, a manifestation of dominance that transcends mere physicality. Nobody can say for certain that this is how everybody would be if they had the same power as some of the aforementioned, but power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Consider the biographies of some of the most famous or infamous rulers in history. The Roman Emperor Nero was known for abusing children in every way imaginable. The conqueror Genghis Khan took so many women against their will that it's said that a large portion of the Asian population from the region that he dominated are his direct descendants. The president of Uganda, Idi Amin, was so barbaric that he was known as the Butcher of Uganda. These powerful men were fiends in every sense of the word. They used men, women, and children and committed every destructive act you can think of. It is not merely material wealth or resources that catalyze such descent, but the intoxicating allure of influence, a gateway to unchecked dominion over others. There are plenty of people that gain incredible resources by doing the things that they love, and they stay in their nooks of society, not bothering a soul. Central to this discourse is the imperative introspection. Why the insatiable hunger for power? Could it be rooted in past traumas perpetuating a cycle of victimization and vengeance? Earlier, I mentioned the Roman Emperor Nero and the disgusting things he was known for. Well, he absolutely victimized Caligula, who was the next Roman emperor to rain terror on his subjects. It's been rumored that Sean Combs was Clive Davis's boy toy, and that he assumed that role to lay the foundation to his own power base, which he has allegedly used to terrorize his subjects. So there's something to be said for damaged people creating damaged people. Might mental illness or mental disorder play a role? Skewing perceptions and exasperating destructive tendencies? These questions linger, urging us to confront the underlying motives behind the pursuit of power. Why? Why do you desire power? What do you really want to do with it? Look, I, for one, harbor no illusions of righteousness. I ain't all good. Were power to suddenly fall into my hands, my actions would probably undoubtedly fall short of moral perfection, but not no P. Diddy type shit. I'm simply acknowledging this inherent fallibility, and I refuse to claim immunity from the corrupting influence of power. Because like old boy said, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's all I got. This particular video was my attempt at discussing the idea surrounding some of these people, the idea of absolute power being as corruptive as it is. You know, we often joke about these people, you know, and their falls from grace, or all the memes and all the shit comes out once the things that have been rumors for years begin to surface as fact. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay, I guess, in some way to do that. That's what social media does. But as opposed to just discussing the individuals and their acts and confirming biases and wanting to be right about what was said about somebody 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or however long, how about we just discuss the ideas, you know? And that's, you know, what I was attempting to do here. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and just look forward to more. That's all I got.